friends, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Relly. I'm a queer disabled YA author, and my debut novel, There's a Badge for That, comes out May 23rd. Super exciting. It is April 1st, so next month is pub month. It feels like it's coming more quickly now. I don't typically film videos on the day that I'm intending to post them. It is 11/11, make a wish, and typically my videos go up at noon on Tuesdays. That's not happening today, obviously, but I am still gonna try and get it up today if possible. So let me tell you how we got here. Last week, my partner unexpectedly got a 4-day weekend. He has a ton of hours built up at work, and his boss said, "You're taking a long weekend, see you later." So he was off Thursday, Friday, which means we were doing things as a family and I didn't film. And then Saturday we woke up to the ice storm because we were in Ontario, and thankfully we were good all day Saturday. We kept our devices charged and, you know, we've got lots of like water and stuff prepared, so we were feeling good. And then Saturday night our power started sort of just having those little like blips where it goes off for a second and turns off your TV show and all of the things, and then it comes right back. And then Sunday morning we woke up and we lost power. It was out for about 7 hours and then it was restored. So I'm not trying to be complainy at all because most of our county, not even just our city, most of our county is still without power. And Tuesday almost at noon. And tomorrow we have another ice storm coming through, so a lot of those people might not get their power restored for many days still, and we might lose ours again. So we are back on charging devices and being prepared, and this is the first day the sun has been out in what feels like forever. And despite having lighting and stuff in this room, it's just not ideal for filming when the sun's not out. It's still very dark. So although we did have power yesterday, I didn't film because it was still super gloomy outside, and my partner was actually still home because the roads are so bad and so much of the city doesn't have power and all the things. So here I am, it's Tuesday morning, and I'm trying to film and get a video up for you today. It did work out in my favor though, because today is the start of the rough draft challenge with Sarra Canon. So I am not drafting, as I said, I think 2 videos ago. I'm not drafting this month because I still have all the back end publishing stuff to do, uploading the files, getting them approved, all of the things. And I think that's gonna take me a lot of energy and brain power, and I didn't want to commit to drafting at the same time, as well as trying to figure out marketing, as well as still homeschooling the kids. And as soon as the weather starts getting nice, I want to be outside. So I didn't want to be committing to drafting this month. It just felt like too many things. So I'm spending the month outlining my next novel, Project AAO, that I talked about 2 videos ago. And I thought today would be the perfect day to like announce it and sort of tell you a little bit more about what it's about. And then I'm going to do some logistical prep stuff and some plotting. So that's what we're gonna do today. This is gonna be like an April 1st rough draft challenge, real time kind of vlog. So let me get situated at my desk and figure out what I'm gonna pull up to show you, and we will get started. Okay, wow, that's a not super flattering angle. I'm still trying to figure out my new desk setup with my vertical monitor and everything. So I am pulling up a couple of things here. So I have 2 things pulled up, 3 things pulled up that I am going to talk about. So the first is my notes app, which I will just show you real quick. I was gonna do screen grabs and I was like, no, because I don't want you to really be able to see it anyway. So first is I have my notes app open with my brainstorming document. So before I've even made a Scrivener doc, I will start a brainstorming document in Notes, and that way it's super easy for me to pop things in there on the fly on my phone. I find the mobile version of Scrivener is not great, even on the iPad. Like, I just don't love it. I also don't love that you have to pay for it on every device, which is, I have words about that. Maybe that's changed since I got it, but I've had Scrivener for, I don't know, at least a decade, I think, and that's the way that it was. So I have my brainstorming notes in the Notes app, and then once I start a Scrivener, I'm gonna try something new because I just watched Meredith E. Phillips' video on her brainstorming process, and she has all her brainstorming notes in Scrivener, which makes so much more sense because then when you're outlining and drafting, the notes are right there. And I know it, like, obviously it has a notes section, it has a research section, like That's all right there. I know that that was their intention, was for you to be able to have everything in one app. I've just never done it for some reason. So I think now that I'm moving into the outlining phase, I'm going to copy all those notes over to the Notes app. And of course, I'm also going to copy any character details onto the character sheets built into Scrivener. So I do have my characters set up. I will tell you, my main characters are Posey, Felix, and JJ. Comment down below if you know where one of those names comes from. If you know my kids' names, you should know. I have my characters. I know their names. I know their ages. I have a few little character details, like sort of their vibes, their personality. I have some images saved on Pinterest of sort of what I think they look like, but I haven't actually put those details into my notes anywhere. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get my character sheets all set up. I have one location so far in the places section, and it just has the name. It doesn't have any details, so I need to sort of figure that out as well. I think this is gonna be the main part of my plotting today, is actually gonna be getting all of this set up. And then I created a template from Save the Cat in Scrivener that I open as a template at the beginning of every new Scrivener document. So what I have done is I've set it up into the act and then the beats. And then on this side, in the notes, I have what the beat is, what percentage of the book it should be, and then just a little descriptor. So the reason I've done this is because when I wrote my first novel, Project Camp, there's a badge for that, I used the 3-act, 27 chapter, whatever that, I don't remember, whatever that system is by Katie Tastic, I think. That's what I used the first time around, and I actually really liked it. But through the revision process, I found it a little much. So I had all of these million scenes plotted out and written, but then I was trying to shove them into this really rigid structure, which I think writing my first novel from start to finish, I had obviously started novels before that one, but writing my first novel from start to finish, I think that rigid structure was good because it held me to a standard of what I was supposed to be doing. But then in the revision process, it was so difficult, and I found myself having to, even up until when I was proofreading, I found myself having to add more splits in the chapters and, you know, like move things. And I think it was because I had been so rigid in the beginning that this had to go here and this had to go here and this had to go here, that then through the revision process, it just, none of it was exactly right. So I'm gonna try doing Save the Cat this time. I have tried it since my first novel. I started 2 novels since then. I did 50K in one of them, although I didn't come to the end of the draft. And the third one, I only did like 15K. So I have not really been successful with Save the Cat because I didn't complete that either of the drafts, but everyone raves about this and I feel like it's what I should be using. So I want to really make an effort to follow Save the Cat this time around and come to the end of a draft so that I know for myself if this works for me or if I should go back to what I did for There's a Badge for That and just figure out some ways to make it easier for myself in the revision process. Does that make sense? That was a really long-winded way of saying this is what I'm using. This is the template I have set up on Scrivener. So I have that template set up. I need to fill in character info. I need to fill in my setting info. I'm going to copy and paste all my brainstorming notes over. I think that's probably going to be about what I do today. I also wanted to show you, I have Project AAO set up on TrackBear. And I actually have stuff here on my graph because I had set up a goal to brainstorm. So I had wanted to brainstorm something every week all through March. So I do actually have content if I go into Project AAO on my chart here. So now I am moving on to outline, and please let me know if you use TrackBear. Can I like reorganize these somehow? Like I know I can star them to make them go to the top, but why isn't the one that you're currently doing the one that's at the top. Like this one is upcoming. This is drafting project AAO. This is outlining project AAO. So why isn't this one the one at the top? Do you know what I mean? Anyway, so I'm just gonna start for now so that it's the one at the top, but what the heck? Okay, so this is my new project, which I have not done anything yet, and I need to get going on that. Those are the 3 things I have pulled up right now: the track bear, my notes, and Scrivener. And I'm gonna get started on my April rough draft challenge with my plotting. I am not using Sarah Cannon's website simply because I use TrackBear anyway, and I find when I bog myself down with too many apps and sites and places I need to be, that then I just sort of stop updating everything, and I don't want that to be the case for this project. So I'm gonna stick with TrackBear. I'm not gonna use Sarah's website, but I am participating in my own way. Okay, I'm gonna get to outlining. Hopefully this was helpful for you. I don't think I'm gonna film the whole process because outlining is not super interesting or fun, and it may be something where it takes me the entire month, and it may be something where it takes me like 4 days and I'm done. So I'm not gonna do an outline vlog or anything like that, but I just wanted to start the rough draft challenge off with a little video today, and let me tell you a little bit about Project AAO before we go. So this queer young adult contemporary includes coming of age, city life, axe throwing, killer soundtrack, found family, platonic soulmates, and queer joy. And I said, after the start to 2025 we've all had, I can't wait to dive into this story and dial the queer and trans joy up to 11. So that is the vibe for this new book. There's a Badge for That is really heavy. It's a hard-hitting contemporary. It's all about mental health. There is definitely some queer stuff in there, but it's a heavier book. And I wanted to do sort of like a 180 for this next book, especially given the climate that we're living in right now. And it's going to be like all queer joy. So very excited. That is what is coming next. It is coming out in 2026. And yeah, that's the update. I think I've babbled on for long enough. So I'm gonna get to my outlining, and please let me know down below if you are participating in the rough draft challenge, what tier you're doing. I guess I'm technically diamond because I'm not drafting. Let me know down below what tier you're doing, what you're working on, what your project is, and what you're up to, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, friends.